This is Qtv Nightly News, which is also on Q Radio 103.3 FM. I'm Mudu Kajaga and thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. On the second day of the 2026 African Caucus meeting in Banjul, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, founder, chairman and chief executive officer of the Dangote Group, called on African leaders and entrepreneurs to accelerate industrialization, regional integration and invest boldly in the continent's future. Following his speech on Tuesday morning, Aliko Dangote paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul on the sidelines of the 2026 African Caucus meeting. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court of the Gambia has condemned the forceful removal of former Auditor General Modou Cissé from office, describing the action as a violation of the law. The court has ordered the state to pay Cissé $4 million in compensation, in addition to his salary and allowances up to the time his appointment was supposed to end. Today, the ECOWAS Parliament took its campaign against irregular migration directly to communities, engaging residents of Bakau on the dangers of unsafe migration and human trafficking. 18 students graduated from Darus Sunnah School for Quranic memorization after successfully memorizing the Holy Quran over the weekend. Those were the headlines. Coming up next is the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. On the second day of the 2026 African Caucus meeting in Banjul, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, founder, chairman and chief executive officer of the Dangote Group, called on African leaders and entrepreneurs to accelerate industrialization, deepen regional integration and invest boldly in the continent's future. Loli M. Kamara reports.
Addressing finance ministers, central bank governors, policymakers and development partners from across the continent, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, Africa's richest man, underscored the importance of industrialization, describing it as the cornerstone of sustainable economic growth and long-term prosperity.
Africa must mobilize its own savings. Foreign investment is valuable, but domestic investment is indispensable. What I'm trying to say here is that when you look at pension funds in Africa, you are talking about a total of almost about $600 billion. But are we really putting that $600 billion into use? I think the answer, we know it's all here. It's not. And there are a lot of financial institutions that are actually not interested in seeing the development of Africa. We need to wake up and do things by ourselves.
With Africa's population projected to reach 2.5 billion by 2050, Mr. Dangote stressed that creating productive employment is an urgent priority. He said sectors such as manufacturing, agro-processing, logistics, and value-added industries offer the greatest potential to absorb the millions of young Africans entering the labor market each year. Citing the experiences of South Korea, China, and Vietnam, he said rapid industrialization and sustained investment in local production had transformed their economies.
It requires long-term vision. It requires supportive public policies, including state protection against foreign dumping, substandard products, uncompetitive practices, and above all, it requires confidence that Africa can produce, not merely consume, but even the excess it can actually export to the rest of the world.
Africa's richest businessman argued that the continent cannot achieve meaningful industrialization without a truly integrated market. He called for the free movement of goods, services and people, stressing that Africans should be able to move and do business across the continent more easily than foreign passport holders. Mr. Dangote also announced plans to invest $46 billion across Africa by 2030, including the construction of a new 700,000 barrel per day oil refinery in East Africa. The Prime Minister of the Republic of Guinea-Bissau, Ilidio Verate, was among the dignitaries present at the event, where, in keeping with the theme of the conference, among other matters, he outlined Guinea-Bissau's vision for sustainable growth, macroeconomic stability, and inclusive development in Africa. The two speakers' addresses resonated strongly with delegates, reinforcing the message that Africa has the resources, talent, and market potential needed to achieve lasting prosperity. They emphasized, however, that the continent must translate its vast potential into concrete action through industrialization, regional integration, and increased local investment. For Qtv News, Loliam Kamara.
Africa's richest businessman, Aliko Dangote, on Tuesday paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul on the sidelines of the 2026 African Caucus meeting. Usman Jatta has the details.
The 2026 African Caucus has invited leaders from across the continent and created opportunities for important sideline meetings. And right behind me, His Excellency President Adama Barrow is set to receive one of Africa's richest businessmen, Aliko Dangote, on the sidelines of the conference.
President Barrow held a private meeting with Mr. Dangote, during which they exchanged gifts and discussed issues of mutual interest. Mr. Dangote also met with key business leaders, including Q Group Chairman Mohamed Jah and senior government officials.
Dangote's visit comes as finance ministers, central bank governors, business leaders and development partners meet in Banjul to discuss about the economic future of the continent.
Q Group Chairman Mohamed Jah and Commissioner General Yankuba Dawo shared their thoughts on the significance of Aliko Dangote's visit and the opportunities it presents for investment and economic growth.
We were able to have some few minutes together to talk about business in Africa, because I remember a few years ago he formed a business group called the African Champions, and it was 14 of us. I was fortunate to be one of the members, and our objective is to encourage African multinationalism. That was set up almost 10 years ago. In fact, I got a lot of ideas of, expanding my business to the region through that group. So we had a very good talk today. I was able to tell him, where we are now and what our intentions are for the future.
Because he has indicated that no country can develop without industrialization, and that's very important. And secondly, he has also mentioned in his speech that those that have the money in Africa need to look inward instead of investing, taking their money outside of their continent. It's better to invest it within the country, so that will create employment and it will help their own government as well as the citizens of their country. So those are things that are very, very important. And more importantly, because I'm a tax person, what impressed me more is he did mention in his speech that businesses are good, but businesses must be ready to pay taxes, because taxes are the lifeblood of every country. So the business, in as much as you are in business, you have to be ready to pay your right taxes so that the government can be able to use those resources to rule the country for the interest of all the citizens.
Mr. Dangote's presence highlights the important role of private sector in driving investment, economic growth and development across Africa. The African Caucus continues with more discussions aimed at strengthening economic cooperation and advancing sustainable development across the continent. Usman Jatta, QTV News.
In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court of the Gambia has ordered the state to pay former Auditor General Modou Cissé $4 million in compensation, alongside his salary and allowances up to the time his original appointment was scheduled to end, after describing his forceful removal from office as a violation of the law. Usman Jatta reports.
Been transferred to this court, to Dabanani Chambers. I'll be fronting the matter in the courts. So he won't be able to go to the nitty-gritties of the matter, because the matter is about to go to court.
Those were the remarks made by lawyer Lamin J. Dabo during the dramatic scenes surrounding the forceful removal of former Auditor General Modou Cissé from office in 2025. On the 7th of July 2026, in a ruling delivered by Justice Omar Momodu Musa Njai on behalf of a panel of judges, the Supreme Court stated that the forceful removal of Modu Sise from office on September 15, 2025 was a violation of the Gambia's 1997 constitution. Justice Njai ruled that the removal of the former Auditor General also contravened Section 158 of the Constitution of the Gambia, which stipulates that a person holding the office of Auditor General can only be removed for reasons such as inability to perform official duties due to physical or mental incapacity, misconduct, or incompetence. In his judgment, Justice Njai stated that reinstating former Auditor General Modu Sise would jeopardize the public interest. The court therefore ordered the Office of the Inspector General of Police to pay the compensation award to Mr. Sise. The APEC court also ordered the government of the Gambia to pay Sise's salary and allowances until his appointment was scheduled to end, amongst other orders. The Supreme Court affirmed the appointment of Cherno Amadou Sow as Auditor General, noting that the plaintiff Modu Sise did not seek reinstatement to his former post. The Supreme Court held that Mr. Sise failed to provide sufficient evidence to support his claim that he rejected the trade ministerial position, noting that he did not call any witness to corroborate his account. Justice Njai further revealed that Alhaji Usman Sise, the chief protocol officer at the Office of the President, testified that President Adama Barrow had informed him of Mr. Sise's acceptance of the trade ministerial appointment. In its decision, the court concluded that Mr. Sise met with the President on September 10th last year, where he accepted the ministerial position but later changed his decision regarding the appointment. Here is Lamin J. Dabo, Modu Sise's lawyer, reacting to today's verdict.
Well, I believe 4 million is a substantial amount of money, but on the circumstances, on the particular facts of this case, it is not enough money. Yes, the IGP needs to understand that he's not in that office for the president, for any president. I know everybody wants him to be reinstated, but that's a difficult situation. Remember, if you are in the domestic environment, somebody is working for you and you are not in a good relationship, you're living in the same house, it's very difficult. So the Auditor General works very closely with the government departments, the presidency. So we know that practically it would be impossible.
As the dust settles, both sides may be claiming their own individual victories as a result of this ruling. Osman Jatta, QTV News.
We will now go for a commercial break. When we return, we still have more national news stories. Do stay tuned. Welcome back, and this is QTV News. I am Umudu Gajaga, and here are the rest of tonight's news stories. Today, the ECOWAS Parliament took its campaign against irregular migration directly to communities, engaging residents of Bakau on the dangers of unsafe migration and human trafficking. The dialogue brought together community leaders, young people, returnees, and survivors to share experiences and propose solutions. Alif Sise reports.
The community of the coastal settlement of Bakau is the first stop in ECOWAS Parliament's ongoing week-long awareness campaign on irregular migration and trafficking in persons. The engagement brought together community leaders, parents, young people, returnees and survivors of human trafficking to discuss the growing risk associated with irregular migration and explore sustainable solutions. Returnees and trafficking survivors recounted the harsh realities behind the promise of a better life abroad. Tambang Kuyate is a returnee and member of the Youth Against Irregular Migration Association.
Working on this journey was something that I never dreamed of, and then it was just a peer influence that I have to take this journey, and also it was a family pressure. So combining these two forced me to use this backway journey. But it's far from the reality, because the experience that I got there, it feels like it does not worth it, because I experienced human rights violation, I experienced kidnapping, I experienced people being dead in my presence. So these are all experiences that I enjoyed in this backway journey.
Because luñ la dé wax ak lu am nekkut benn.
Speaking Wolof, Ami Job, founder of the Safe Home for Migrants Association, narrated how she was deceived in 2013 with the promise of a well-paying job in Egypt. Instead, she became a victim of human trafficking, spending 7 months in inhuman conditions before eventually returning home. She warned parents and young people to remain vigilant, noting that traffickers are increasingly using online platforms and social media to target unsuspecting victims. Former National Assembly member for Bakau constituency, Khalifa Jammeh, commended the ECOWAS Parliament through the Gambian delegation for taking the awareness campaign directly to communities. He called for stronger collaboration among governments, communities, and development partners to tackle the root causes of irregular migration.
There was a boy who made mention of they were making these petty businesses on the roads, and there are a lot of people who were benefiting from it. During the operation Clear the Road, they cleared everything and they were not giving anything. So those are kind of things that would encourage illegal migration. So I think the government should come in and then make sure they help the boys and then give them something that they can rely on.
Bilaji Tunkara, head of the Gambian delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, assured the meeting that their concerns and recommendations will help shape the Parliament's ongoing advocacy and policy interventions.
And I want to promise you, every contribution are taken into account. And we shall lay this report before the ECOWAS Parliament, where you have 12 member countries that will be debating on the outcome of citizen engagement in the Gambia.
The ECOWAS Parliament's community outreach continues on Wednesday in Brikama before concluding on Thursday in Bara, North Bank region, as lawmakers seek to amplify community voices in the fight against the menace. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
18 students graduated from Darus Sunnah School for Quranic memorization after successfully memorizing the Holy Quran. The graduation ceremony was held on Saturday at Nema Kunkuk Al-Kali. More details in this story.
وأنذر عشيرتك الأقربين واخفض جناحك لمن اتبعك من المؤمنين.
These 18 students of the Darus Sunnah School for Quranic memorization have achieved the remarkable feat of memorizing the entire Holy Quran from Surah Al-Baqarah to Surah An-Nas, reflecting years of dedication, discipline, and hard work by the students, their teachers, and parents. The memorization of the Holy Quran is a deeply revered Islamic tradition, with Quranic schools, locally known as daras or majalis, playing a vital role in preserving Islamic knowledge and nurturing future generations. Darus Sunnah School for Quranic memorization is governed by a 7-member advisory board, chaired by Molfa Sanyang, and supported by a dedicated team of administrative and teaching staff.
Our responsibility as a board is to create an environment where students or where children can learn, grow, and develop both spiritually and intellectually. We must continue to invest in Islam or Islamic education, strengthening our institutions, encourage our teachers, those are the ustazis, and provide opportunities for our young people to become confident, knowledgeable, and responsible members of the society.
The graduating students proudly recite verses from the Holy Quran with precision and melodious voices under the guidance of their teachers, demonstrating the knowledge and discipline they acquired throughout their studies. Darus Sunnah School for Quranic memorization has established itself as a center of excellence in Islamic education, where learning to read, understand and memorize the Holy Quran forms the foundation of its curriculum. Like many privately run Islamic schools, Darus Sunnah relies heavily on community support and donations. In 2021, a fire damaged parts of the school, prompting fundraising efforts to replace student belongings, uniforms, and other essential items. Principal Sheikh Junaida Tal called on individuals and organizations to support the institution.
Still ñun ngi appeal Quranic school yi am lu mel nii ñu momal ko suñu bopp.
We continue to appeal for support for our Quranic school. We already have a school here in Nemokunku, but we need additional support. To be certified that you have memorized the Quran is the best you can get. Darus Sunnah combines full Quranic memorization, Tawheed, Arabic language, Islamic studies, general academic subjects that meets the requirements of the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education and Amana. The school also provides scholarships for financially disadvantaged students, helping expand access to Quranic education. The 18 graduating students have now joined the ranks of many others who have memorized the Holy Quran at the school. Their achievements is regarded as a significant milestone that not only enriches their spiritual lives, but also prepares them to become future teachers, scholars, and community leaders. Mamudu Gajega, QTV News. Amitage Senior Secondary School in Janjanbureh on Saturday held its annual speech and prize-giving ceremony to celebrate the academic excellence, discipline, talents, and outstanding achievements of its students over the course of the academic year. Here is Mam Nabukar.
The annual ceremony, which brought together education stakeholders, parents, community leaders, alumni, and invited guests, serves as a platform to reward excellence across various academic disciplines, inspire students to strive for high achievement, acknowledge the dedication of teachers and parents in shaping the future of young people, and reflect on the school's rich legacy of fostering holistic education and moral discipline in rural Gambia. Speaking to students who have successfully completed their studies after 3 years, the school's board chairperson, Esa So, offered congratulations and words of advice.
Let your conduct, your service, and your success speak well of this institution. The world you are entering is competitive and demanding, but with discipline, with honesty and hard work, you can succeed and make your families, your school, and your nation proud.
Sekuna Sibi, the principal of Amitage Senior Secondary School, highlighted the school's large student and teaching population as well as its strong academic performance, citing the school's success in numerous national debates, outstanding WAEC results, and partial scholarships secured by students to pursue further studies at the University of the Gambia. The school's principal also outlined key challenges facing the institution, including shortages in transportation, the need for infrastructure upgrades, replacement of solar batteries, modern kitchen equipment, and additional female staff to support the growing needs of the school. He had some parting words for the outgoing students.
I am with the conviction, with the intense training in both academic and social spheres, in the hands of committed and seasoned teachers, you shall excel in life, as Amitage has produced and will continue to produce lots of academic giants and renowned personalities around the world.
Alhaji Basiruba, the president of the Amitage Ex-Students Association, paid tribute to the school's 99-year journey as the only government-owned boarding school in the Gambia. He also honored the fallen heroes who dedicated their efforts to ensuring the institution's success and safeguarding the welfare of its students. He urged the students to uphold the institution's proud legacy and ensure that the achievements built over the years are preserved.
Remember that you are being refined in the fire to become diamonds. Hold on forth. Guard the flame. Your day of glory is coming, and we will be here to celebrate you.
Demba Sise, Director General of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, reflected on the values, discipline, and character-building experiences the school instilled in him during his time as a student. He urged current students to uphold discipline, make positive choices, and avoid drug abuse.
If you want to be on this high table sometime to come, you can never go near drugs. You can never touch drugs.
Amadou Dafe was the guest speaker.
Your journey does not end today. It is the beginning of a lifelong mission to serve and uplift your communities. May you continue to inspire change wherever you go.
After giving a range of prizes and awards to recognize students' excellence, Armitage Senior Secondary School looks ahead to the next academic cycle with renewed commitment to sustaining an environment where academic achievement and extracurricular talents can continue to thrive. Mamna Buka, reporting for QTV News.
Now, here's a recap of our main news headlines. On the second day of the 2026 African Caucus meeting in Banjul, Alhaji Aliko Dangote, founder, chairman and chief executive officer of the Dangote Group, called on African leaders and entrepreneurs to accelerate industrialization, regional integration and invest boldly in the continent's future. Following his speech on Tuesday morning, Aliko Dangote paid a courtesy call on President Adama Barrow at the State House in Banjul on the sidelines of the 2026 African Caucus meeting. In a landmark ruling, the Supreme Court of the Gambia has ordered the state to pay former Auditor General Modi Cisse $4 million in compensation alongside its salary and allowances up to the time of his appointment was supposed to end, after describing his forceful removal from office as a violation of the law. Today, the ECOWAS Parliament took its campaign against irregular migration directly to communities, engaging residents of Bakau on the dangers of unsafe migration and human trafficking. 18 students graduated from Darus Sunnah for Quranic memorization after successfully memorizing the Holy Quran over the weekend. For in this edition of QTV News, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow for more news and have a pleasant night. Bye.